Hey everyone, Phylaros here. This is a bit new for my channel, but I'm going to start posting occasional clips from my coaching VODs. This video covers the early game from a gold Ekko coaching session, so nothing too crazy or detailed, just a solid discussion on some early game jungle fundamentals. I'll be posting some useful clips from later on in the session separately, as a single 90-minute uncut VOD review is probably a bit too much to watch in one sitting. Let me know in the comments what you think, and whether or not you'd like to see more videos like this. A quick reminder that I now have a Discord server where you can get help with your jungle clears or just hang out, and you can find a link in the video description below. Let's hop right in.
So I saw that Shyvana had no flash, so I was already assuming I was just going to camp top, or at least first gank top, because she has no mobility, she has no escapes. Why not just abuse that right away?
Right.
So I was planning to do a 5 camp clear up to top.
Okay. And
that was my initial thought process.
Any thoughts on mid, on bot, on the jungle matchup?
The jungle matchup with Graves, I knew I wasn't going to try to fight him as much as possible because I don't really know the matchup too strongly, and I do know Graves is really good at 1v1, so I was just going to play it safe and not try to fight him. Yeah, like for Scuttle, if he wanted to contest me for top Scuttle, I'd probably just leave it, go bot, something like that. Mid and bot, I didn't really pay too much attention to.
Gotcha. Yeah, mid looks a bit tough to gank. You don't have much setup from the Vlad. Fizz can get out really easily with his E, so unless Fizz is the one that commits onto your Vlad, probably a bit tough to gank. Bot lane, actually not too hard to gank once Leona hits 6. She has some decent setup for you. Their bot lane's pretty squishy, so probably playing towards the side lanes mostly. And yeah, I tentatively agree, not interacting with Graves too heavily unless you get a nice lead, and focusing top because she has no flash. Pretty solid thought process. Okay, let's see here.
So I knew my I knew my laners were just chilling in pool, so I just warded there for myself to make sure I wasn't going to get invaded.
Okay.
I usually do that when I see that I'm not getting any like
anyone like guarding your jungle.
Anyone guarding my jungle, I just try to play safe, make sure that no one just comes in and just deletes me, because that's happened to me a few times.
Where do you usually ward otherwise if your bot lane is defending?
If they're defending, I'll go top and I'll push up to the top. I don't know what it's called, but like right on the opposite side of red buff to see if I can get a ward onto the red buff.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
At least one thing I'd note, if you're versus like a Graves or Kindred in particular, you can maybe go for a ward like right between. Let me pull up the mini map real quick. Like if I zoom in, it's like this spot right here. A ward over here, and on the opposite side, like over here, because Graves and Kindred, they can just like take red and hop right over the pit, right? And then they can like invade from this path. So wards over here will catch both entrances, and that can be kind of nice if you're versus a Graves or Kindred studding red, right? To make sure they don't go like red into your blue gromp, because like a typical pixel ward, something like that, will often miss that invade. So I keep that in mind. There is some potential here that you'll just lose your top side if Graves is starting red into blue gromp, and if you're doing like
yeah okay.
But yeah, I can understand why you warded it, because your bot was just completely AFK in base, so I think it's fine. Just be aware that Graves may be up there. Okay, let's see how this plays out. Good that you're tanking for Leo, knowing melee supports, kiting downwards for Krugs. Oh, actually kiting upwards.
Oh no, this is not what I actually was going to do a three camp gank.
Okay.
Into
okay.
Yeah.
That's actually not bad, because if Graves is going red blue gromp, you can meet him at your blue, kind of duke it out with him, right? You can push him off.
Yeah.
As opposed to if you did like red Krugs Raptors and he came in from your top side, it's all gone, right? You don't have vision over here. So I actually tentatively agree. You should toss your Q at Raptors as you're passing though, just to get a little bit of heal.
Okay.
Because it'll be back up by the time you enter blue anyways. It's just like you get a little bit of Omnivamp as you run across. You can be maybe like 75 HP.
A little bit healthier.
Yeah. Like that. Okay, let's see here. Pop your pot. Looks like Graves. Wait, let me see. Where did Graves start? It was not paying attention because I was. Okay, looks like he started blue actually. Either blue or your top side from the looks of it. But your blue is here, so he started blue as well. So most likely Graves usually goes for some kind of, if he's starting blue, he's probably doing like a 5 camp farm path, something like that. Just blue grump, wolves, raptors, red, something like that. Let's see here. Okay, double camping. Oh, I'd pull behind the blue over there so the Q hits it as well.
Okay.
Okay, so you're smiting. A little bit inefficient on the clear. Your Q was coming back up, so I would have just walked down over here, tossed your Q, and then your Q would have finished it. So you're taking some extra damage, and it's taking like, you're losing maybe 3 or 4 seconds, not hitting your AoE properly.
Okay.
Okay, let's see here. So you're heading up into top kink after this? Okay, this is a little problematic. You started pathing out immediately without checking on Shyvana's HP or the lane state, so you don't actually know if this is a gankable lane state, right? She could be full HP right now, and walking up would just do nothing, right? Problem is you don't know, so you needed to check while you're on Gromp. You need to like quickly F key or click
Look
top
over.
to make sure this is actually a gankable thing before you start routing out, right? It looks like it is. That being said, I think you probably just go on her right away, right? Because she has no flash. This wave's going to take a long time to push in because there's a cannon. So you probably just go right away.
I was trying to go in right away, but I was expecting my Garen to actually shove in because I was clearly wanting to dive. I guess I didn't ping it correctly because he just kept freezing.
Let me see here. Okay, so he should be. I agree. He should be autoing as you're coming in here. It doesn't look like you pinged at all. Actually, you didn't ping that you were.
Yeah, I
there.
didn't ping until I was actually in the bush behind the tower. So I think that was just my fault for not letting him know that I want to dive.
Yeah, I'd also note though that because this is a cannon wave, it's going to take him a while to push anyways, and you can just one shot the Shyvana. There's no need to wait. She has no flash, right? So you just go on her.
So would it be worth it to just flash over right here, like right here in this specific instance? If I were to have actually just flashed over E Q'd,
I
would
don't
that have
think you
been
even
better?
need to commit flash. It depends how she moves as your pop. If you're standing right here and you just toss your W and you like E out, I don't think she can actually get away because she doesn't have flash. If she does path away really quickly, maybe you have to commit your flash, right? But I would actually tentatively have said that this wave is going to take a little while to push in anyways, so you probably could have just gone.
Okay.
Because you don't want to wait too long, right? Because Graves was clearing from bot side, so there is some chance that he's on top side right now,
Nearby.
right? That he
Yeah.
was on like Raptors or red. If you went, for example, blue Gromp Wolves into red, then he can get here pretty quickly, right? He won't.
I
be
was
far
actually
off this
expecting
timer.
him to be this on this side anyway, because at the timer it's near 3 minutes, and I know at around 3 minutes most junglers are getting ready to go for scuttle. So
Yeah,
I was like, I wanted to get this kill fast so I
yeah.
could go for scuttle.
Yeah, that's why I probably would have just gone for it. But I agree, if you pinged in advance, maybe helped him push in, or not helped him, like if you told him to push in real quick, maybe you could have gotten it in time. But I think she was so low that you could have just gone, right? In the end,
Yeah,
you didn't even wait for the wave. You just went, and it was
I
totally
just
fine.
went anyway because I saw that the
Yeah.
Garen wasn't shoving fast enough, so I just said, all right, I'll go.
And what
Then
you can get from that is that you probably could have gone in the first place, right? No need to wait because
yeah,
Graves did show up. Okay, so let's hear. 309, he probably only 4 camped actually. I don't Graves doesn't clear fast enough to reach here at this timer if he 5 camped. Okay, let's see how this works out. Ooh, you can just stay on him. He'll die. He
I
already
saw that.
used I would just kill him, run out the other way, right? He already used his W and Q. He has nothing left. And your Garen's kind of low, so there was no reason to back off right there. Like here,
Okay,
this frame, he has no damage left
yeah,
at all. So I'd probably just kill him. Looks like your Garen gets him anyways.
and then we
Flash
get the
good.
kill on Giovanni here as well. Yeah, I remember this now.
That's fantastic. Okay, nice stun. Does Garen live too?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, I'd quickly look at the wave top just to make sure it's fine. From the mini map, it looks fine though. Just to make sure that he can get like a nice base off though. Okay, mid's missing.
Here I get the fist of flash, and I just jump
Ooh,
over the wall.
great job, great job. And you probably just take it back here, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I go under tower and back.
What's your thinking on where Graves is right now?
So he just died, so I know he's at spawn, and I was thinking he's probably gonna go from spawn down to bot side scuttle.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you press tab. Good, good. He has 16 CS right now, so like we suspected, he didn't 5 camp. He's only taken 4 camps, right? So if we're looking at this freeze frame, because we're backing right now, we have plenty of time to be taking stock of things. He either went blue wolves raptors into red into top gank, or he went blue grump wolves red into the top counter, right? So either his Krugs and Gromp are up, or his Raptors or Krugs are up. So actually, he could come to either side, right? If he went blue Gromp Wolves into red, he's probably coming back out to top side to take his Raptors, Krugs, and topside Scuttle. And if he took blue Wolves, Raptors, red, he could be going to either side. But I would agree tentatively, it's more likely he's going bot, right? He just died
He's going
top.
bot side.
He
So,
might expect you
quick
take.
question. Yeah, so quick question in that specific scenario. Let's flip the sides. Let's say I was the Graves, right?
Okay.
What would I path to the Scuttle on either side? Because you're right. I have camps on either sides that I do need to clear out. Would I path to the top side Scuttle or bot side Scuttle? Doesn't really matter first, and then clear out the camps, or would I clear the camps and then go to the Scuttle?
You would go to Scuttle first because as Graves, if we're flipped, Graves is ahead of you by about 10-15 seconds of tempo, right? He died and then you contested the Shyvana and then you backed. He's maybe 15, 20, actually maybe even 20 seconds ahead of you, right? So if he heads to one of the Scuttles, he can take it uncontested. And if he waits and takes a camp first and comes back out, you might have time to run back out and contest the Scuttle, right? And he's behind at this point. May be tough for him to fight you. You can probably pick up, I don't know, like T2 boots or alternator, something like that, right? So it'll be quite unfavorable for him. So in his position, you'd be rushing one of the Scuttles. If it was only Raptors and Krugs up, I'd probably come out to the topside Scuttle because these are the only 2 camps up. Depends on his timer. If he goes for bot Scuttle, his Gromp would come up around 4 to 4:10. Is usually when your first small camp respawns. So he can go to either side. It kind of depends on him as a player, right? There's no way to completely accurately predict. But yes, if you were in his position, I would rush one of the Scuttles after respawning.
And then go for whatever camps you're on at that time. Okay.
But your thinking was he'd come out to bot side Scuttle, so you need to be pinging your bot side right now. Like roughly in, sorry, I don't have my tablet right now, but roughly in this area, right? Because he's 15-20 seconds ahead of you in tempo, so there's a great chance he's already on this Scuttle. So you need to let your bot know, right? Because they're pushing
that he's
up.
doing the Scuttle.
Because if you look at this freeze frame, there's no danger to your top or mid, right? Your Garen just back, your Vlad's full HP on tower. So if he is on bot side, there is some danger to your bot lane. Your server's out of mana, they're shoved in pretty far. So if he gets something off onto your bot lane, that's kind of your fault, right? If you didn't ping for it.
Okay.
Okay, so are you pathing up for this Scuttle? Let's see.
I'm going for chickens to
Scuttle.
To Scuttle, I think.
Oh, it looks.
No. Actually, I'm going straight to Scuttle. Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. I mean, that could be okay if you went topside. It's probably okay. So now you need to. This changes everything. You need to ping your topside immediately, right? Because he didn't come out for the Scuttle. He's not here, even though he was 15-20 seconds ahead of you. That means he absolutely went to topside. There's like a small chance that he just went to Gromp, but Gromp wouldn't have even respawned at that time, right? Because Gromp would be coming up around 4:10. And he got back maybe 340, 350, something like that. So his bot side wouldn't have even been up unless it was Gromp and Krugs up. But basically, your pings are to communicate where potential danger is, right? And as soon as you see the Scuttle here, it means there's I'd say an 80 to 90% chance that Graves is up here right now on the topside Scuttle. And that's potentially dangerous for your Vlad and your Garen. Yeah. So I would be lighting this area. You don't need to back ping them per se if you're not 100% sure where he is, but I would at least question mark ping in the top river, right? Give them some info to work with, help keep them safe, right?
Okay.
So you're grabbing this guy up. Okay. Bit of a dangerous position for your Vlad and your Garen. Okay. Looks like he came out onto mid. Does your Vlad get out? Okay, so Vlad died. This is on you. Because as a jungler, your job is also to control the enemy jungler. It's not just to clear and gank, it's to control the enemy jungler. And if you're not, you can't always be physically there, right? You can't always physically counter gank at all times. So the way you control the enemy jungler is with pings. As soon as you saw the Scuttle, this needed to be pinged out.
Yeah, like saying, hey, back off, because I'm pretty sure he's over there.
Exactly. Ooh, looks like he got a trade kill.
Yeah, he did get a trade kill. I remember that part.
That smite was a bit weird, given that it was 100 HP. You have your passive up, one more auto is going to kill it. The smite was a little bit. Oh, I guess you have two smite charges.
Yeah, I
That's
have
fine.
2 stacks, and I've always been in the philosophy of trying to get my smite to the
Yeah, yeah.
passive as fast as possible. So if I realize I haven't been using it, I just start smiting things just to smite them.
Yeah, that's okay, actually. I didn't see you were on two smite charges. This is a little weird that you're defaulting onto this raptor camp before looking mid, because you don't know what the mid lane state is, right? Maybe you need to come in here and like take care of the wave for Vlad.
Care of the wave. Okay.
I'm not sure, right? It depends on what the late wave state is. Tentatively, I'd say from here that this is fine, just based on the mini map, because the next wave's already coming in. So Graves, I don't think can push this in time. But you know, it's worth checking first, right? You're not looking at anything here besides going on to Raptors. So who knows?
So one of the main reasons I don't do that, so this is my thought process, and I know it's not necessarily correct, but the reason I usually don't do it is because laners in this elo are really, really like aggressive about their wave.
Yeah, they're
Like
real
if I
testy if you try to
freeze,
take CS.
like if I go there and I like try to freeze the wave, or I see like the wave is on their tower and they're on base, and there's no possible way that they're going to get it. I go get it, and then they start spam ping me and say like, "Oh, stop trolling! You're taking all my CS." So I don't usually do that for that main reason.
Gotcha. Okay, what I have to say about this is it's still your responsibility to try to make the right play and to at least assess the situation to see what the right play is, right? Now, if it's like super favorable to come hold this wave for your Vladimir, you'd get some EXP gold out of it and you can help freeze the wave for him, then that's good. Go do it. And if he pings you off, just leave. Because I understand exactly what you're saying. Some people are real pissy. They have no idea how waves work. And they'll be pinging you off even though you're helping them, right? It makes no sense. It's not worth pissing your laners off, I agree. Because even if it's like a little bit good for them, they get mad, right? And then they like tilt and AFK. So I agree. If they start pinging you off, just leave it. But you should at least, at the bare minimum, come check, like take a quick look over and see, right, and try to make the right play.
So typically, when you're near a lane, like mid or like, since I'm in the bot side of the map, I should be checking the wave state for my mid and my bot just to see if it's good to gank or if they just did a trade. Should I freeze it for them? Should I go get CS?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Ideally, you also check top. Ideally, you have vision on all three lanes, but realistically, it's kind of hard to do that.
How am I going? Yeah, like how am I going to affect the wave state at top if I'm on the bottom side of the map?
Okay, so the thing with top is, as a jungler, you can't be anywhere right away, right? If you were going mid, you'd be there 5 seconds. If you went bot, maybe 15 seconds. If you went top, maybe 30, 40 seconds, right? So as a jungler, you're trying to predict how things will look in the future. And the reason why looking top might be important here isn't because you can do something right away, but it potentially impacts your decision after this Raptor camp, right? Because you have Krugs up, you also have Wolves and Gromp up, so you have a decision point right here where you can either path down to Krugs, or you can path up to Wolves and Gromp. And each of these things, this decision point is going to be affected by the state of top and the state of bot, right?
Okay, yeah.
So potentially... Oh, sorry, continue.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. Finish first. I'll ask my question.
Okay. So what I was gonna say is potentially, if this Shiv is like slow pushing in, maybe you actually favor coming top instead and ganking again, right? Because she has no flash. It depends on. Ideally, you would be clicking top and clicking bot here and getting a rough read on what the lanes look like, and that would help inform you for which way you should go after this Raptor camp, right?
Okay. So I've seen a few jungle videos on jungle pathing and like camp management, and the general consensus is that you shouldn't really leave your camps in a staggered state like that. So right here, you're saying that I have a decision point to make, right? I look at my top, I look at the top and see Shyvana's pushing in, which means I could potentially go in for a gank if I were to start pathing top right now, take my wolves, take my grump, yada yada yada.
If she's pushing in,
if she's pushing in, but that leaves my Krugs up. Which then, isn't that a bad camp management?
No, not necessarily. Like, because your windows to do things are always changing, right? Because if you go into Krugs and then go into Wolves and Gromp, maybe this wave pushes back the other way and you lose your opportunity to do anything. and then you're stuck on the top side of the map with no ability to impact
Nothing to
anything,
do.
right?
Yeah.
What I would say is your rough logic about taking care of your camps, keeping them on respawn, being efficient with your farming is good. That's a good tendency to have at a baseline as a jungler, but there's no
Mm.
black and whites in jungling, right? Jungle's all about how well you navigate the gray space. If you just imagine, put yourself in the shoes of like a top tier jungler. Do you think the way that they're deciding their pathing is just by going, okay, my camps are up, I have to take all of them before I do anything? No way, right? No, there's no way it's that simple. It's all about how well you navigate those decision points. Now, as a default, taking all your camps, I agree, generally pretty good practice for a lower ELO jungler just to make sure you're staying roughly efficient. But
Mhm.
you want to at least start entertaining that if you gather some more info, it may shift your
It
decision
should
making
change
process.
what I should do.
Right, right.
So you see, I have Blitz in the top right there, the
Mm-hmm.
CS counter.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of my main issues is that I always prioritize macro over micro, or is it the other way? Micro over macro?
As in farming over ganking, or
Farming over ganking, yes, because
mm-hmm.
I always try to make sure that I am useful at every point in the state of the game,
Mm-hmm.
which usually ends up making a lot of my laners feel like I'm letting them out to dry. Especially when I play Mundo, because I actually remember a game for not too long ago where I played a Mundo game and I was actually like CSing really well. I was ganking for my lanes and diving, but we ended up losing anyway because I just didn't have enough early game impact to get the rest of my team
Going.
to like go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end card screen, the enemy jungler was actually a Smurf. He was like, "Yeah, you actually played really well micro or macro, but you didn't really help your team out too early, and that's why you lost." So I was like, oh,
Okay, just to clarify, micro refers to mechanics, basically your mechanical clicks, your how you control your character, your combo speed, things like that, right? That's what tends to fall into micro. So basically, micro is mechanics. Macro refers to your decision making, right? How you figure out where to go on the map, things like that.
okay.
So clearing camps is not like micro or macro, right? Clearing camps is just clearing camps. It just means you're farming. What I would have to say about that is if you as a player like to make sure that you're in a good spot and so you default to farming more, that is fine. There's high ELO players that farm a lot, there's high ELO players that gank a lot. Both playstyles are fine. What's not fine is not checking and making an actual decision. Because
Mm,
you have no idea if bot lane is totally free right now. Maybe this if you go into this Krugs camp without checking bot, this is a huge problem point, right? Because maybe I don't think the Senna and Lucian have reset yet. I think they're still here on their base, on their starting items, pushing in to try to get a reset. Maybe they're completely out of mana. Maybe they're completely out of HP. Your Leona's full and full mana. Maybe you could have just rotated here for 2 free kills, right?
oh, okay.
The problem is you don't know because you didn't check.
I'm not actually checking. Yeah.
Right. Now, where your tendencies as a player come in is if you do check and it looks kind of 50-50 and you decide to go for the Krugs instead, that's okay, right? That's just your playstyle as a player to favor getting the farm. That's also me. If it's a 50-50, I'll favor the farm because I like being ahead. I like being relevant in the game. Now,
But if I'm not actually looking to make those decisions, like I'm not actually giving myself the path, I'm just saying this is what I want to do,
mhm,
not paying anything and any other attention to what's going on around me. I'm not even
exactly.
looking at the decision. I'm more of just, hey, I want to go take my Krugs.
Yeah, that's exactly how I would put it, actually. I'm like, this Krugs take is not a bad decision. It's that there was no decision. A decision is when you look at option A and you look at option B and you go,
And
which
then
one do I prefer, right? You weigh your options. And then if you make the you make the wrong decision, then that's still a decision, right? It was a bad decision, but it was a decision. This isn't a bad decision. There was no decision because you didn't weigh any of your other alternatives. You
my
just saw it
options.
and went, right?
Hmm.
Now, where that becomes problematic is it just doesn't give you room to grow, right? It doesn't let you see any alternatives for you to like go in your gameplay, right? All the crossroads that you could have potentially taken, you just don't see them. And that makes it very hard to improve as a player. Okay, so it looks like pretty much as said, they pushed up, they backed. Now, again, I don't know. Maybe bot lane wasn't a good gank. Maybe it was, and that's the problem, right? Neither of us knows because you didn't check.
I didn't actually look. Yeah.
That wraps up the early stages of this VOD review. I'll be posting clips from later on in the coaching session soon. Let me know what you thought, and whether or not you'd like to see more of these coaching videos. Thanks for watching, feel free to subscribe, and a big thank you to my patrons for helping to make this channel possible.